Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this evening's meeting. If we'd all please rise when we led in prayer by Alderman Bill Nash.
Almighty God, we ask for your blessings upon the members of this council as we assemble here in this chamber to conduct the ongoing business of our city. With your guidance, we will strive to ensure that all our decisions are for the common good, and your inspiration will instill respect, compassion, thoughtfulness in all of our deliberations. Give us the strength and wisdom to lead by example as the people's representatives, and that peace and harmony will mark all our proceedings and keep us faithful to the trust placed on us by the citizens of our community. Amen.
Amen. Alderman Singh, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. Motion, please, to the floor, adoption of the minutes of January 2nd and 16th. Is such a motion? Alderman Gould is second, please. Alderman Nash. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Alderman Nash? Yes. Alderwoman Hayes?
Yes.
Alderman Lamport?
Yes.
Alderwoman Gould? Yes. Alderman Singh?
Yes.
President Pro Tem DeLucia? Yes. Mayor Nystrom?
Yes. Thank you. Motion is adopted 7-0.
Petitions and communications, number 1, presentation of fiscal year 2023 audit by Carl Clifton Larson Allen LLP, partner David Flint.
The floor is yours, sir. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is David Flint from CLA. I appreciate the opportunity to both work with you guys and present with you guys tonight. Hopefully you guys all have copies of the financial statements and the federal and state single audits. I also did provide a PowerPoint presentation. It's just more so you guys have the information that I'm going through. I hope to make the presentation a little bit more proactive. We could go flip through the pages together. So I'm going to start with your annual comprehensive financial report, more commonly referred to as an ACFR. It's the largest document you guys have here. So hopefully you guys have all had a chance to read through it by now. If you have not, two things you absolutely must have to read. The transmittal letter, which is on Roman numeral, starts on Roman numeral number 1, and then the MD&A, which starts on page 5. But we're going to start tonight on page 1. It's approximately 30 pages in. And basically, this is our opinion. This is the summary of the audit that we performed, and we gave the city an unmodified opinion. An unmodified opinion is the best opinion that can be given. One thing I do want to draw your attention to, you see towards the bottom, there's an emphasis of matter paragraph. This is used to draw attention to something to the readers that we think is important. In fiscal year 23, we did adopt a new accounting standard, GASB statement standard number 96, which has to do with subscription contracts. You may have remembered last year we implemented leases. This is kind of a spin-off of that has to do specifically with IT subscriptions like software, things like that. So moving forward to page 14, please. So this is your government-wide financial statements. And these are performed on the full accrual basis of accounting. And that means that these statements include things like capital assets as well as your long-term debt. It's broken out into two categories. You have your governmental activities, which is all the city's activities with the exclusion of your pension and OPEB funds, and then your business type activities, which is your public utilities, your ice rink, your golf course, and your stadium. So some big things to see here. You'll see your capital assets, $305 million net. On the city side, $186 million for business type. Down in liability section, $260 million long-term liabilities, $55.5 million for your business type, and then you come down to your net position. The majority of the net position is net investment in capital assets, which is basically your capital assets less the long-term debt that was used to acquire those capital assets. The page after that is the more commonly referred to as the income statement for those two categories. And you'll see that for governmental activities, they have a change in net position of positive $8.2 million for the year, while the business type activities had a $1.67 million loss. So moving forward, these are your fund financial statements. This is on page 16. Here you have the city's major funds as well as the non-major funds, which is all the rest of the funds aggregated together. I think the primary fund here, of course, is the general fund. You'll see your general fund's assets, liabilities, deferred inflows, and working your way down to fund balance, which was $20.1 million at the end of the year. The next page has the income statement for those funds. Specifically honing in on the general fund, you'll see that the general fund had it's actually 2 pages, sorry, page 18. You'll see that the general fund actually had a $3.6 million surplus for fiscal year 2023. There's kind of 3 main things that attribute to this. Strong tax collections. Tax collections were $582,000 more than budgeted. Building permits continue to be strong within the state of Connecticut, which were $567,000 over budget. And then interest income, as we all experience in our personal lives, interest rates are up significantly. The city received $1.2 million more in interest income than had been budgeted for. So you see back on page 16, fund balance for the general fund is made up of 2 categories. Assigned, $231,000. These are encumbrances that were rolled forward to fiscal year 24, and this is money put aside for those encumbrances. And then the remainder is $20.7 million unassigned. And this represents about 15% of the general fund's budget, which is great. Moving forward to Exhibit 5, which is page 20. This is the balance sheet for your business type activities. We have Department of Public Utilities first, and then your non-major enterprise funds, which again are those the ice rink, the stadium, and the golf course combined. The page after that, again, shows the activity for those funds for the year. Norwich Public Utilities had a $1.5 million deficit for fiscal year 2023. This was $6.7 million better than the previous year. That $6.7 million increase was a combination of rate increases and increases in the purchase power adjustments. It is important to note that in that $1.5 million deficit is $8.6 million that was transferred out of NPU into the city. And then the non-major funds accumulated together had a $140,000 deficit. Moving forward to page 23, this is the city's trust fund. So we have 2 pension trust funds and an OPEB trust fund. They're accumulated here, but if you guys flip towards the back to page 141, you'll see that each of these plans is broken out separately. So page 141 has all the assets that you'll see invested in the plan and what those assets, what types of investments the plan is invested in. And then the second page, 142, is the activity for those plans. You'll see in the middle net investment income, and you'll see that each of the plans had significant investment income for the year. The city's pension plan had a $14.9 million change in net position for the year. $273,000 for the fire plan and $3.8 million for the OPEB plan. So I'll talk a little bit more about those plans in a little bit. So moving our way through the report, page 47, this is your long-term debt. So basically it's broken out into 2 categories, your governmental activities and your business type activities. Those 2 categories we've been talking about. For the city, governmental activities, you'll see general obligation bonds ended the year with $188.2 million. Although there were $8.2 million in bond paydowns, we did have a $9.2 million issuance of bonds in fiscal year 23. Down for the business type activities, there are no bonds on the public utilities books. However, they do have a significant amount of notes payable with the state of Connecticut. Those are clean water funds and drinking water loans, and you'll see those totaled about $26 million. Moving forward in the report, page 97. This is called RSI 1, and this specifically has to do with revenue for the general fund. This is your budget to actual schedule. It has everything budgeted and then the actual results for the year. The three items I mentioned before, the first one being general property taxes, you'll see $582,000 above budget. Tax collections for the current year revenue was 97.17%, which is up from the prior year of 96.95%. You also see down below, building permits, I spoke about 567,000, and on the next page, in the middle of the page, you'll see the interest on investments were budgeted at 450,000, and of course came in at 1.7 million. One more page to page 99. That's the same schedule, but this is for expenditures. You'll see, each department. And as far as expenditures go, everything was pretty much in line with what had been budgeted. Moving on to page 101. I said I'd talk about the pension plan in a little bit more detail. So you'll see for 2022 column, the net pension liability ending was $45.45 million. So this is part of that long-term debt that I mentioned earlier. More importantly, the pension plan is funded 88.23%. This is a really good funding ratio and higher than most of your peers. That, of course, is due to the pension obligation bonds that were issued last year. RSI 4, the next page, you'll see this shows you how much the city contributed to the pension plan in relation to how much your actuaries told you need to contribute, and you'll see that that amount was 100%. One more page, 103. This is the investment rate of return that the plan was receiving in the market over the last 10 years. You'll see 8.86% for 2023 compared to a 9.5% loss in 2022. RSI 6, page 104, this is your volunteer firefighter pension plan. They had a $3.58 million net pension liability, and this plan was 50% funded. Again, the next page, 105, 100% was contributed into the plan as per your actuaries, and the plan received similar investment returns as the city's plan on page 106. Skipping ahead to page 108, this is a similar schedule, but for your other post-employment benefits trust fund. That liability was $33.4 million, again, included in your long-term debt. And this plan is 50.31% funded. This may initially sound like a lower funding percentage, but most of your peers don't even have a trust fund related to their OPEB plan anymore. So it is good that you guys do have funds set aside for these benefits. Page 109, again, 100% was contributed into this plan as per your actuaries. And page 110 is the investment returns, which are very similar to the pension plans. The rest of the pages are supplemental schedules and statistical tables. I don't have anything specific to go through, but I do encourage you guys go through them. Does anyone have any questions related to the financial statements before I move on?
Please continue. Go ahead.
I'm going to quickly go through your federal single audit first. So included in the federal single audit are two opinions. One is internal control over compliance for each of these grants, and the other one is internal control over financial reporting. Both of those received an unmodified opinion, which again is the best opinion for the federal single audit. If you flip to page 4, you'll see this is 3 pages of all the federal grants that were expended upon in fiscal year 23. It was a total of $41.1 million for the year. Moving towards the back, page 10, you'll see this is the results of the federal single audit. You'll note that no issues were noted, the opinion was unmodified, and we did test 4 grants. So there's a formula that helps us choose which grants we have to audit each year. For this year, we audited the Child Nutrition Cluster, Highway Planning and Construction, Elementary and Secondary School Emergency Relief, which is more commonly referred to as ESSER, and coronavirus state and local fiscal recovery funds, which is more commonly referred to as ARPA. So no issues were noted during the audits of these grants. Moving along to the state single audit. Similarly, there's, again, two reports in here, both unmodified opinions. Page 4 lists out all the state grants that were expended for the year, totaling $59.4 million. Bottom of page 7 and page 8, we're required to disclose any loan programs, and you'll see these are the clean water and drinking water loan programs, 8.5 for clean water, $17.2 million for drinking water. These are the notes that are on MPU's books. And finally, page 11, the results. You'll see no issues noted, unmodified opinion. And again, 4 programs were tested for the state single audit as well. Alliance District, Priority School Districts, the Sherman Street Bridge project, as well as school readiness in priority school districts. You guys have any questions for me?
Thank you. Members?
Print's too small.
We have, there's a PDF copy available.
You mentioned our unfunded liabilities. We're in a very strong position. Medical side.
The medical, sure. So if you flip to, let's see how fast I can find it. Get the page number. I mean, obviously, with the cost of medical, since the pandemic, these health, particularly health funds, have been taking a beating. A lot of municipalities have even been using ARPA funding to subsidize the health fund. Sorry, let me just find that schedule real quick. Yeah, so if you guys flip to page 137, you'll see your 2 internal service funds. You have your medical benefits fund and your workers' compensation fund. Your medical benefits fund is actually in a pretty strong position. You have $1.9 million in net position at the end of the year. Workers' compensation fund, on the other hand, is in a deficit of $2.49 million. I mean, is there a specific question to that?
No, there was a description of the state's position on those same areas. And I know that they're catching up at the state for their benefit plans, but on the medical side, it was a report is only funded at 6%, which basically means pay as you go.
Oh, you're talking about for the OPEB plan. Sorry, I thought you meant your health plan.
Oh, no.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so OPEB plans have been forgotten. Like I said, a lot of your peers don't even have a trust fund anymore. You guys have a 50% funded, and you have $30-something million in assets set aside, which is better than most. Again, 50% versus the state at 6%. Right. But yes, a lot of municipalities have moved to pay as you go, and just have completely abandoned the trust fund altogether.
Thank you for clarification. Members, any questions at this time? Yeah. Thank you very much.
Guys, thank you so much.
Number 2, annual report from Commission of Persons with Disabilities.
A motion, please, to accept. Alderman Singh, second. Alderwoman Gould. Is there discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Alderman Nash? Yes. Alderwoman Hayes?
Yes.
Alderman Bettencourt?
Yes.
Alderwoman Gould? Yes. Alderman Singh?
Yes.
President Pro Tem DeLucia?
Yes.
Mayor Nix.
Yes. Thank you. The motion passes 7-0.
City Manager's report?
Thank you. This is the city manager's report for February 2nd, 2024. Meetings attended were with state representatives and legislators, Southeastern Council of Governments, Executive Committee meeting, Connecticut Interlocal Risk Management Agency, that's KERMA, Norwich Public Utilities City Coordination Meeting, several follow-up meetings regarding the Yantic flooding, and NCDC annual meeting that was followed by a ribbon-cutting ceremony at the new Hotel Callista, located at the former Elks Building on Main Street. I also attended a goal-setting workshop on Saturday, January 27th at Foundry 66 for the council, invited city department heads, and NCDC President Kevin Brown. The session was moderated by Dania Hamzi Karachia from Connecticut Conference of Municipalities, where short, mid, and long-term goals were prioritized and documented according to the city's updated plan of conservation and development. Public Works dug test pits at two of the proposed school sites, at the Greenville School and at the Stanton School. The test pits were dug on two separate days in the month of January, in between weather events. Utilizing the city's labor and equipment helped expedite the school design process. As a result of the relatively mild winter, Public Works has been able to continue some routine maintenance activities which otherwise would have to be suspended. This includes catch basin cleaning, culvert cleaning, and roadside ditch cleaning. These activities are advantageous in preparing for future storms. The planning department has submitted annual reporting to participate in the community rating system. The city's participation in the program allows owners of properties located within special flood hazard areas to receive 10% discounts on their insurance premiums. Youth, Family, and Recreation Services has been running free programs all winter, and most classes are at capacity. The Rose City Senior Center has opened its on-site clinic in partnership with Hartford Healthcare. The uniqueness of this program lies in Hartford Healthcare services being offered right at the Rose City Senior Center. With this partnership, we will be able to better ensure Norwich seniors are receiving a continuum of care that they would not get in a typical healthcare setting. There were 1,134 lockbox payments processed at M&T Bank for the January installment, which was a 13% increase from January 2023. Applications for the 24-25 Community Development Block Grant round were due Friday, February 2nd, 2024. The Community Development Office received 14 applications in addition to their administrative budget for the 2024-25 CDBG program. Applications totaled 836,665, with the anticipated HUD available amount of 806,000. Review and consideration of the proposals will happen over the next several weeks. And that concludes my report for this evening.
Thank you, John. Any questions of the city manager at this time? Yes, Alderwoman Hayes.
So I just want to ask a question on the Hartford Healthcare partnership with the Rose City Senior Center. How are other seniors being made aware of the services that they are providing up at the senior center?
Well, there's notices at the senior center. There's also the newsletter that goes out that announces the program a few months in advance of the actual program.
Right, but we have many seniors in this city that do not attend the Rose City Senior Center, nor do they receive the newsletter.
I don't know if it's on the webpage or not. Okay. Is the senior center health?
So I just might suggest also contacting the Norwich Housing Authority as they have, and the federal housing programs, that house seniors, and ask them to include it in their, monthly mailings or distributions.
Thank you. Other questions at this time? Yes, Alderman Singh.
I just have a question. So, John, can we also use like the school platform to pass some of the information that is vital? Because they have a big mailing list, and of course, you know,
In the
parents.
past, we were granted limited access to that, school platform. I think it's changed, but I have to clarify with the new superintendent, but
That
we
might
didn't
be-
have as much, free access to it as we hope to have at that point. I think it's changed now.
Okay, that might be good avenue as well to explore. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Singh. Our acting superintendent is here tonight. I'm sure she heard the dialogue, so that could help extend that conversation further as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Yes, President Pro Tem, please.
Less of a question, more of two statements. First, the owner's rep that is representing the city and the school building committee, I can't think of another word other than raved at the support that they got from Public Works on those test pits, especially with, you know, with all the coordination that had to go on between the two storms and so on and so forth. So they made a point of telling us at the committee meeting how helpful the Public Works staff was, and to pass that on.
Good.
The second thing, and Kevin Brown will chuckle at this, very happy to see that the sewer pipe is now been removed from West Main Street at Washington
It's
Square.
a bad dream now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to see the sidewalk again.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yes,
It's a
that's
big
your
difference.
point. Yep.
It's funny how,
Yeah.
when you see it now, it looks, so open compared to how restricted it was.
So thank you for NPU for staying on top of that.
I will pass that on.
Thank you. Any other comments, questions? Seeing none? Thank you, John.
You're welcome.
Comment on resolutions on agenda items only.
At this time, I declare citizen comment and resolutions open. You have 3 minutes. Please use the microphone, state your name and address for the record. We do have one person who signed up, Beryl Fishbone.
I wanted to talk, I forgot that this was the first meeting, and I had like three.
Gotcha. Thank you. Okay, anyone wishing to speak on the two resolutions on our agenda, please do so.
Hi, good evening, everybody. I'm Mike Doyle. I'm the director of the Recovery Coach Program at Reliance Health. Just wanted to speak really quickly on the resolution for the opioid settlement money, resolution that's on for tonight. The reason that we're talking about this tonight is that we had another funding source for our recovery coaches. The funding for that, it was a grant and it expired, so this is going to be able to kind of bridge the gap until we are able to secure further funding for this. Just to give you an idea of the impact that the recovery coaches have had in Norwich. For those of you who aren't sure, a recovery coach is a person with lived experience that helps individuals in the community with their recovery, and that's, we kind of do a wraparound service with that, where we see them beforehand, we help them get into treatment if that's what their goal is, and then we're there for them afterwards. It's pretty easy to stay on track when you're in treatment, but the rubber hits the road when you come out of treatment, and that's where one of the big places that the recovery coaches come in. But it's so much more than that. It's an outreach program. We've actually been operating in Norwich since 2018. We're probably the first municipal-based recovery coach program in the state. We've garnered some national attention. I was just informed that Congressman Courtney, he mentioned us when he was down at Capitol Hill this past weekend by a person who knew us. So this past year, we've been able to do a lot of outreach. My recovery coaches were able to get about 500 naloxone kits out into the community. And one of the big impacts of that is that there were 146 overdoses that first responders responded to in 2023. Okay, and it's 60 of those before the first responders got there. The individuals were given naloxone or Narcan. They're one and the same, okay? And 59 out of those 60 people survived. Okay, so I mean, that in itself kind of speaks volumes to it. So just wanted to kind of give you a little background on that, and I thank you for your time tonight and let me speak. So, thank you.
Thank you, sir. I would always like to comment on the resolutions before us at this time, please. Anyone else like to comment on the resolutions before us at this time? Anyone else like to comment on the resolutions before us at this time? Third and final request, anyone like to speak to the two resolutions before us at this time? Seeing no one else, I declare it closed, and thank you.
New business resolutions, number one, relative to reallocate opioid settlement funds appropriated for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2024.
Thank you. A motion to bring it to the floor. Alderman Singh, second Alderman Nash. Is there discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Alderman Nash? Yes. Alderwoman Hayes? Yes. Alderman Davenport?
Yes.
Alderwoman Gould?
Yes.
Alderman Singh?
Yes.
President Pro Tem DeLucia? Yes. Mayor Nystrom?
Yes. Thank you. Resolution is adopted 7-0.
Number two, relative to reappointments to the zoning board of appeals.
Thank you. Motion to bring to the floor. Alderwoman Gould, second Alderwoman Hayes. Is there discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Alderman Nash? Yes. Alderwoman Hayes?
Yes.
Alderman Davenport?
Yes.
Alderwoman Gould? Yes. Alderman Singh?
Yes.
President Pro Tem DeLucia?
Yes.
Mayor Nystrom?
Yes. Thank you. Resolution 2 is adopted 7-0.
I hereby move pursuant to Connecticut General Statutes 1-200 subsection 6, that the members of the Norwich City Council go into executive session for the purpose of discussing the acquisition or disposition of real estate or interests in real estate when publicly regarding the proposed acquisition or disposition would cause a likelihood of an increased price to acquire or a diminished price to dispose of the property, and to review feasibility evaluations and reports made for the city of Norwich regarding such property, and to review information given the city in confidence not required to be disclosed by law. City Manager John Salamone, Comptroller Josh Poffier, President of the Norwich Community Development Corporation Kevin Brown, and Corporation Counsel Michael Driscoll shall be asked to participate during all or portions of this executive session at the request of the City Council.
Thank you. Is there a second, please? Alderman Singh. Roll call, please.
Alderman Nash? Yes. Alderwoman Hayes?
Yes.
Alderman Davenport? Yes. Alderwoman Gould?
Yes.
Alderman Singh?
Yes.
President Pro Tem DeLucia? Yes. Mayor Nystrom?
Yes, thank you. Motion to go into executive session passes 7-0. Room 319, people, please. Council will come back to order. Let the record show no votes were taken during the executive session. May I have a motion to,
Return.
please, from the floor? Alderwoman Hayes, second Alderwoman Gould. Roll call. Alderman Nash.
Yes.
Hayes.
Yes.
Bettencourt.
Yes.
Gould.
Yes.
Singh.
Yes.
DeLucia.
Yes.
Nystrom, yes. Thank you. We're back in session. Motion to adjourn. Alderwoman Gould, second Alderman Nash. Roll call, Nash.
Yes.
Hayes.
Yes.
Bettencourt.
Yes.
Gould. Singh.
Yes.
DeLucia.
Yes.
Nystrom, yes. Motion to adjourn passes 7-0. We are adjourned. Thank you.